For more insight on the situation on the ground in Gaza is Doctors Without Borders Communications Manager Faris Al-Jawad. Faris, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you're currently in the West Bank. Curious to know where in Gaza your team members are located and what you're hearing from them.
So we have a range of sites where our team are working across the West Bank, across Gaza, including in the north, including Al-Shifa Hospital, Al-Quds, and some of the other hospitals in the region. They're describing horrific scenes, and I don't think that should be any surprise to your viewers, as I'm sure everybody's aware of how dire the situation is in Gaza at the moment. It's been difficult to sometimes contact our teams, sometimes doing amputations without anesthesia. This is the reality for our staff on the ground, and what's worse is they don't know themselves whether they're going to wake up tomorrow. So the situation is just a nightmare, beyond some kind of horror movie that could be described.
Doing amputations without anesthesia is hard to comprehend, really. Also like to ask you about this new acronym that has been created specifically due to this conflict, WCNSF, which stands for Wounded Child No Surviving Family. How prevalent of an issue is that?
I mean, the vast majority of the patients that we see, that our teams see in the hospitals around Gaza, are indeed children. The other day, after Jabalia camp was hit, we received many children in Al-Shifa Hospital, and one of our colleagues described to me the fact that most of these children arrived without any parents, without any family. They were screaming for their parents, screaming for their family. There was nobody there, so our team member had to stay with the children, obviously give them emergency medical care, but also stay with them thereafter because they're alone.
And you said that in those cases they were able to stay with those children, but if we're talking about large volumes, what happens to those kids? Do they end up then just staying at the hospital indefinitely?
Well, it's difficult to track, but indeed the hospitals themselves are loaded with not only severely wounded patients in beds, on the ground, in the corridors, but of course thousands and thousands of people seeking shelter. So it's just carnage. There's no other way to describe it. There's nowhere for people to go. The idea to be able to evacuate these hospitals is just ludicrous. There's nowhere to go, and indeed leaving the hospitals with patients obviously who are sick and ill and in dire shape would mean a death sentence. So it's just an untenable situation. The situation needs to stop. The bombing needs to stop. We need a ceasefire now. Quite frankly, it's just unfathomable how this is still going on. World leaders, I don't know how they can sleep at night, quite frankly. I do not understand it. We've been saying the same thing over and over again. It seems that our words are just falling on deaf ears. Sometimes it doesn't even seem worth doing these interviews to some degree because it seems like nobody's listening.
If there's someone who's in America, in Canada, in Africa right now who wants to help, is there anything that they can do from home?
I believe it's everybody's wish and responsibility to try and push for a ceasefire, and whether that be the people of the United States or the people anywhere across the world, we need a ceasefire. We need to push leaders to make this happen. I said it before, I just can't believe anybody can sleep right now. I haven't slept since I've reached Palestine. I've been here for a month now, and knowing what's happening just disallows me to sleep. So I think everybody should be calling for a ceasefire. People should be pushing their leaders, and we should be pushing all stakeholders to make this stop.
And of course, we've been talking about the Gaza Strip, as I mentioned earlier. You're located in the West Bank. How are conditions there?
Dire. I'm in Jenin right now, and most of my members of my team are asleep. And the reason why they're asleep is because almost every single night they're woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to Jenin Hospital to deal with trauma case young men with gunshot wounds. They've been in and out of Jenin Hospital every day. You know, there's been over 150 people killed in the West Bank since the 7th of October. This is not Gaza. This is the West Bank. And as I said, we're dealing with horrific trauma cases, bullet wounds. I was driving around Jenin earlier with the team. The roads have been ripped up. Important symbolic areas of the city have been torn apart by bulldozers.
Doctors Without Borders Communications Manager Faris Al-Jawad, we so appreciate you talking with us, taking the time. Please stay safe.
Cheers.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.